Hello, vinyl community. How you doing? It's Bill with the Vinyl-verse. It has been a long time since I've done a vinyl grabs video, going well back into 2023. So I won't be showing everything that I picked up over that time, but I've grabbed some stuff over the past several months, I guess. And I think I'm going to split this up into two videos. The second part to this, I will show some crap rock and prog rock that I've picked up. So let's get started here. First release is, this is Michael Muller's new album, Mirror Music. Michael Muller, member of the VC, doesn't have time to make so many videos anymore because he is in the band Balmorhea, and they are always working on music and performing and whatnot. So Michael released his second solo album just a couple months ago. I forget the exact date of the release, March 31st maybe. So as soon as I heard that this was coming out, I pre-ordered right away off of Bandcamp, Michael's Bandcamp page, and it came, and this record is stunning. It's really, really great. So Mirror Music, Michael performs 10 tracks, so they're all labeled Mirror, Mirror 1, Mirror 2, Mirror 3, etc. And what Michael did is he kind of set the table, if you will, of each song, and then he invited a guest musician for each track. So really creates this interesting concept, I guess, but really wonderful soundscapes. I'd say experimental, tough to classify what the music is. I think Michael called it himself classical crossover, but beautiful stuff. So Michael plays guitar on it and different types of keyboards and whatnot. But really, really great stuff. This is his first release on Deutsche Grammophon. Of course, his last two albums with Balmorhea have been released on Deutsche Grammophon. And the pressing is great. There's the label. So well done to Michael Muller. I really, really enjoy this. I find myself, I think when you think of a mirror, I find this to be very introspective, but also outrospective, like space and looking outwards and upwards. So yeah, there's Michael there. I definitely recommend you check this out if you have not heard it. I think it's terrific. I find it very, very enjoyable. So congratulations, Michael. I'm definitely happy to have this. Michael sent me a personalized note, which was very, very nice. It just says, Bill, hello, good sir. I'm grateful for your support. Hope this music hits you well. Sending all the best to you and your family. Greetings from California. From Michael. So thank you, Michael. And can't wait to see what you do next. Okay, moving on, I got a couple records here from Suzanne Ciani. So Suzanne Ciani, known for kind of electronic music, experimental, using the, kind of one of the pioneers of using the Buchla instrument, created by Don Buchla. Anyway, these two albums are both somewhat recent. The first is Suzanne Ciani and Caitlin Aurelia Smith and the album Sonergy. Originally recorded in 2016 and re-released last year, and I got this re-release. Really, really great. I think this is terrific. So Suzanne and Caitlin recorded this, I believe, in Suzanne's home studio that looks out over the Pacific Ocean on the coast of California. If you're at all into electronic music, ambient, this is great. Highly recommend this. See, there's a hype sticker here, and there was something on here I wanted to read. It says, Sonergy brings together Synthesis, Suzanne Ciani, and Caitlin Aurelia Smith for the 13th installment of Freakways RV&G International's intergenerational collaboration series. For this expanded edition, a panorama of the Pacific Coast provides the place and headspace for exploratory Buchla synthesizer passages that meditate on a life-giving form, vast and volatile with change. This Pacific Blue color edition includes bonus track Retrograde and printed insert with photographs and artist-esque. So here is the Pacific Blue vinyl. This is the insert with the artist essay. And there's Suzanne and Caitlin. Again, Suzanne and Caitlin. Really, really wonderful. And then next, Suzanne actually put out a new release last year, and this is Suzanne Ciani and Jonathan Fitoussi, and Golden Apples of the Sun. And again, this is just wonderful. Again, electronic. It has spoken word in it. Suzanne has a very seductive vocal speaking voice that plays on here at times, and it's really terrific. Here's the label. And here is the inner. So once again, there's Suzanne and Jonathan with their electronics. Again, terrific stuff. Golden Apples of the Sun. Suzanne Ciani and Jonathan Fitoussi. Here's the hype sticker. Beginning here, Obliques and Atmospheric are very happy to present their new album, Golden Apples of the Sun. It is the result of a close cooperation between Suzanne Ciani and Jonathan Fitoussi. The American electronic music pioneer has joined the French composer to sign a four-hand album around mythical synthesizers like the Buchla, Moog, and EMS. Really terrific. Okay, now moving on to a little jazz. This is a recent pickup. This is from the Blue Note Classic Vinyl Series. It's by Bobby Hutcherson Happenings. Another terrific album by Bobby Hutcherson. He is a favorite of mine. Of course, vibraphonist. And this is just a terrific album. with Herbie Hancock on piano, Bob Cranshaw on bass, and Joe Chambers on drums. Yeah, happy I grabbed this. Like I said, it's on the Blue Note Classic series, and just really great quality pressing. There's the sticker. Okay, next is I did something that I never really do. A while back, I was at my local record store, Siren Records, and I decided to go through the dollar bins underneath. They have dollar bins and $3 bins. I decided to go through them, and I found a few things, including Herbie Hancock Monster. So this is Herbie Hancock. This is kind of late 70s. I'm not sure of the year, but this is kind of like disco jazz, disco soul funk jazz. But for $1, I was happy to pick it up. It's on Columbia. And it's not perfect. It does have some marks on it. Plays with a little bit of surface noise, but I was happy to grab it for $1. And yeah, happy to have it. Really bizarre illustration on the cover there. Okay, and the next handful here are all going to be soul music. So last year, 2023, I wanted to explore soul music a bit more. So I grew my collection, and I'm just continuing on into this year. And I found 2 each albums from the Four Tops and the Temptations, all for really good prices at my local shop, Joys and Toys. Starting out with Four Tops, Reach Out. This is on Motown Records. So songs like Reach Out, I'll Be There, Standing in the Shadows of Love, and a personal favorite, Bernadette. And then they do a couple Monkees covers, Last Train to Clarksville and I'm a Believer. And John, the Digital Gramophone, he warned me about them, saying how he wasn't really a fan of those. And I'd say I'm a Believer is pretty true to the Monkees version, but Last Train to Clarksville, yeah, I'm not, I agree with John, I'm not really that big a fan of their version, the way that's sung and whatnot. But cheap, and this was from 1967. Keep on loving me, Bernadette. Keep on needing me, Bernadette. Bernadette, you're the soul of me, more than a dream. You're the plan to me. So also, Four Tops. This is the album that came out a year after Reach Out, I believe. This is 1968, and it is Four Tops' Yesterday's Dreams. Interesting thing about when I grabbed this one is the record itself was in a plastic inner sleeve that was sealed. It had a perforated edge that you rip off to open the record. So It was sealed, so I unsealed it. It was never played. It's clean as a whistle. After I cleaned it, yeah. So that was a cool pickup, I think. 4 tops.
There I can hear myself thinking. I can't lose my thoughts in the crowd. 'Cause I try so hard since you've been away to feel each lonely hour of the day. I stop to read almost every sign, but when day is done, I still find I can't seem to get you out of my mind.
And the next 2 are Temptations records. This is Cloud 9, a classic Temptations record. Of course, the title track, Cloud 9. I heard it through the grapevine. Yeah. This is on Gordy. So, enjoying this.
Listen, my father didn't know the meaning of work. He disrespected mama and treated us like dirt. I left home seeking a job that I never did find. Depressed and downhearted, I took the Cloud 9. I'm doing fine up here on Cloud 9. Listen, one more time, I'm doing fine up here on Cloud 9.
Okay, moving on. Another Temptations record from 1967. This is the Temptations in a Mellow Mood. Now, I found this at Goodwill, so I was happy to find this again on the Gordy label. Now, this one is in a little bit more rougher condition, but it's still, it's not really coming through. Still plays great. Some surface noise. Yeah, happy to add it to my expanding soul and funk music collection. So Temptations in a Mellow Mood.
As I stand alone on this moonful night, for the first time I feel alone in life. As I watch the moon kiss the starless skies, I feel the need for your lips to press close to mine. For so long I've been afraid to love, but right now I feel a need for love and you.
And then also found this comp at Joys and Toys, and this is wonderful. This is Soul. This came out in 1968. This is an original, and it's in really terrific shape. I couldn't believe how clean the record was. Once I cleaned it, how clean it plays. No surface noise, just great. So on here you have Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, Ray Charles, Joe Tex, Percy Sledge, Solomon Burke, The Drifters, Benny King, Arthur Conley, The Capitals, Esther Phillips, and Don Covey. So yeah, this is like a hits collection. So songs like Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, Wilson Pickett, Land of a Thousand Dancers, Arthur Conley, Sweet Soul Music, Capitals, Cool Jerk, Joe Tex, Hold What You've Got, Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman, Solomon Burke, If You Need Me, Ray Charles, What I'd Say, Don Covey, Mercy Mercy, Benny King, Spanish Harlem, and then The Drifters on Broadway. So, terrific pickup. And it's on that green and blue Atlantic label. Yeah, I was listening to this earlier today, and this is just great stuff.
Do you like good music? That sweet soul music. Just long and it's swinging. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We out here
So, that is part 1 of this Vinyl Grabs video. So thanks for watching. Appreciate you doing so. Drop me a comment. Happy to hear from everybody, and I'll see you when I put out part 2 of this Vinyl Grabs. Okay? Take care now. Bye.